Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to one and all present over here. I think the best way to start this session is with a quote of His Highness Sheikh Zayed. Grant me agriculture and I shall guarantee civilization for you. The words which inspired each and every member present at Al-Sadiq, we thought of starting our gardening club. The club which has motivated all of us, all present at Al-Sadiq, to have unity among us. Then we thought, why it should be only restricted to Al-Sadiq? We cooperated with other schools and even involved them in this gardening club. Now my students are going to take you on a journey of our gardening club. Hope you all are on board with us. Please loudly say, yes, we are on board with us. Yes. Yes. Now welcome my students with a round of applause. Here.
Now, before everything else, I want to ask, why gardening in this 21st century are we implementing with the students? Why is it gardening? Because to be frank, when I told my mother that I was going for this gardening club, the only thing that came to her was, finally she's engaging with her culture. That's it. So what do you think? Why gardening? Any ideas? Yes, definitely. Yes, that's true. Now, all right, so one point we got was greenery. So there are many reasons why we're implementing this. But right now, I would like to talk about 4. First off, environmental stewardship. We students are working to contribute to the environment because we feel responsible for it. Then we have a healthy lifestyle. We want to be aware of what we are consuming, especially in this era. And we also want to change our food input so that we can have a longer life expectancy. Then community and social development. We are working together so that we understand how fragile the environment is and how important it is to protect it. And lastly, academic enrichment. All the activities that we conduct in our school, we make sure that they have a positive outlook on the students' academics and that they have a hands-on learning experience.
Now let's go back to 5 years ago when we first started our gardening club. Now, it was a very small piece of land and, you know, some people might plant a tree or maybe some flowers and not really take care of it, but we were really curious. So we experimented for a little bit and we decided we're gonna turn this into an agricultural land. So we started planting stuff and I'm proud to say that today, in 2018, we have a gardening club, a greenhouse, where I'm even prouder to say that we are well versed in growing chilies, carrots, tomatoes, and cucumbers, much more. And even prouder to say that we had 600 kilograms of cucumbers in a year.
Two other gardening techniques that we initiated in our school is hydroponics and vertical gardening. Now, what is hydroponics? This is where the plants grow in water instead of soil. This is a very sensitive project and it needed constant supervision. We grew many varieties of lettuce, thyme, basil, and so on. The next one is vertical gardening. So many of you have an excuse that you don't have enough space for gardening or you don't have enough time. But vertical gardening is the solution. This does not only add to the beauty of your house, but it also saves a lot of space. Another advantage is that it provides a ventilation to your house. It keeps your house cool in summer and warm in winter. So this gives us the hope that we can grow plants anywhere and everywhere. This is the harvest that was done in our school, the hydroponics unit. And these are the kids joining along with us.
We didn't want to keep the gardening club all to ourselves. We wanted to branch out as much as possible. So we collaborated with the Commerce Department to sell the cucumbers, the 600 kilogram cucumbers, to the teachers, students, and parents so that they may achieve a healthier lifestyle. One of the achievements that we wanted to reach. Additionally, we also had the healthy breakfast sale. Now, over here, we collaborated with even more departments, everything from the Commerce Club to the English Club to the IT Club, to the science club. So the Commerce Department sold it. The Science and Gardening Club took the produce from our gardening, put it into the packs, and I'm proud to say that we sold all of them.
STEM. We've heard it so much, especially as students. We've heard it all the time. And this gardening approach correlates with every objective of STEM. Now, mainly, our whole aspect revolves around handling plants, and that is part of science. That's like the biggest part for science. And then there is the structure of the greenhouse, the structure of the hydroponics, and then we use temperature sensors and EC meters and so many other gadgets now to make sure that the gardening approach that we are taking is part of the 21st century. And all of this adds up with technology, engineering, maths. Not only that, but we make those brochures, as we said, the breakfast sale, okay? The English club, they made brochures, they made advertisement and all of those, and they went around classes and they talked about it and all of those. That adds up to creativity, to design, and that too is a part of the objective.
Another achievement we're very proud of is the collaboration between other schools. We went to different schools, we've shared our progress, we've shared our ideas and implementations with schools such as Al-Wahda School, the American International School, Grammar School, and so on. This is where our objectives of communication and social skills was developed, because we went beyond our school boundaries to elaborate our ideas and share it with so many people with different backgrounds and different nationalities.
Now we're going to have an activity-based task. So all of you have a piece of paper on your tables. If you could just suggest us ideas how we could improve the gardening club, how we could just implement gardening into other schools. So if any ideas you have, even if it's very small, we'd be very thankful if you could suggest us some.
Dear teachers, here I want to bring it to your kind notice that this is the student-oriented project which has been done. The students are involved in planting, in gardening, in hydroponics, in vertical gardening. They have even created a manual, a handbook. They will share their ideas about it with you all.
So this is basically the manual that we have structured so we can help all the primary and the junior students and come after us, because I'm in grade 11, and after this, I'm no longer going to be part of my school, at least for the gardening thing. So we are making sure that it goes down to the junior students. As you can see, it's a very structured thing, like what is a greenhouse? Well, how did we make it? The structure and everything, every little detail. So you can go down, there's a whole list of things. Now, what is a greenhouse? And the greenhouse is in UAE and all of those with the temperatures and everything perfectly detailed out. Just keep going down. Okay. Is that right? Okay. A retake. Let's share our ideas right now, all right? Now we're here. I would actually like to show you the paper. There's a tiny tree with a tiny house. Is that a house, right? It's a greenhouse. Well, all right. That's like way more creative than I ever was in my life, okay? Yeah, there you go. Would you like to share that?
No, you can.
That's right, you can
Please you do it.
It's fine.
It's your workshop. It's your workshop. So you
Oh, come on. This is engagement.
Okay, I'll tell you what exactly.
Okay, come
This is like the
on. Just
collaboration.
shouldn't.
It's fine. Come on.
Thank you.
Okay, here we had just tried to explain how we can connect with the different areas of school. It's like canteen everyone is using and everyone is eating, but we are not utilizing those waste. So that can be used in the form of manure and all, and the same for the gardening purpose. And even students from the same plantation as well as the waste management, they can learn. So two things we can collaborate, and as it is their own house, so that's why it should be the house shape. It's like students' own house, developing their own greenery, developing the empathy and like their connection with the environment, because this is something which they know. Otherwise, the next generation will say the mango is coming from where? They won't say tree, they will say it coming from supermarket. So better to have that feeling that no, mango is coming from tree, or we are getting those herbs from the plants. So that kind of feeling should be connected with our generation. So that's why this concept has. And different timeline we can adopt in which we can have like parents connectivity. Let the parents also come and enjoy. So that's why we had mentioned that the parents involvement, even the community involvement, if we can introduce to get together, that can be done in the weekly basis. And you can connect as like many curriculums are supporting the plant reproductions and all. So this activity can be connected with the curriculum directly in form of like different enrichment. So that can be done in the yearly basis. And obviously, empathy towards the environment, it will be the ongoing process. So I think this is continuously on a daily, weekly, and yearly basis. So that's what the idea was. Thank you.
That was brilliant. Thank you so much. Go on. All right, ma'am. Okay. Anyone? Sure.
Go on, I'll take it. I'm not sure. Do I need that? No, probably loud enough without. Okay, I'm really sorry.
Because it's going to be recorded.
Oh, is it? Oh, no, I don't want to speak. Is it even on? Oh, is it? Okay. We've spoken about a few things, but essentially about making it long-term sustainable insofar as working with the younger students first of all and starting developmentally. So you start with the young with the most easy processes of all and develop as you go through the year group so that the older students are getting into the real quite high-level stuff. You're going to take that away and then I haven't got my prompt. A few things, getting parents more involved, as was already mentioned, perhaps links with the school canteen, and then you start to bring in all sorts of things about waste management, etc. I used to work in Brunei, and we changed our school canteen. We did away with plates and cutlery, and instead of serving on plates, everything was served on banana leaves, which meant at the end of the lunchtime, everything went in a composting bin and was then planted back in through the school garden. So, making the whole cycle work. What else did we talk about? Perhaps supporting the local community in some way, shape or form. Maybe I missed this, but I'm not sure what you do with the plants once they're fully grown. If you're growing vegetables, etc., where do they go? Okay, so it's whether or not they go into your school canteen or whether, in Dubai, can they support maybe the workers' camps in some way, shape or form? So you bring in a wider community into what you're doing. And then sustainable gardening, so finding ways to reduce the energy consumption that it actually takes to develop things within your greenhouse. Oh, and last of all, to make it actually work throughout the school is bringing in very authentic curriculum links so that what you're doing isn't just after school, isn't something that's spoken about at break time, isn't something that's for a small number of students who are specifically interested in that, but actually runs through all of the different subjects within your school at different levels.
First of all, the whole idea about the banana leaves and then that goes in the compost. We're implementing that. Thank you so much. Ma'am, you're one.
No.
Is that right? Come on. I love it.
So actually, this is a really opportunity for me to learn something because in our school, we're just starting to have our greenhouse. And I get an idea from the students and from partners in education. So for now, we're still in phase 1. We're still in planning. So I get an idea from here that in planning, you have to consider different factors from the structuring, from planting, from maintenance to become more sustainable. And that is so far I can share now. Thank you. So, sir, I get an idea from you. It's very developmental. Yeah.
Thank you so much. All right, ma'am, come on.
I think most of it is covered by both of you. I would just suggest that they are talking about spreading how the successful project is being done. Just the nuances of like the use of technology you said and how the watering thing and everything. If you could share the nuances and all the practical things with other schools and with detailed, I think it'll help a lot of students because it's a learning process and you've already experienced it and it's worked out in your school. So it'll be nice if you share those details. Yeah.
And I really appreciate the idea about like saying it in a detailed way to everyone because we had this idea that we had was basically, we have this at the end of the day, they all go for prayer. They have wuzu water, the water they use. So we had this idea that why do we waste that water? It's completely fine. So what do we do is that we take that water, we filter it out, and we use it for our plants. So you see there's like water conservation. And you know, and UAE, it's like one of the top that they use the water consumption. So in a way that helps us to contribute to the environment a lot. And then you have the question about how we are using the plants that grow. It's an amazing question, because when we started off, that was our main question. How do we like spread it around? How do we give it to everyone? Because what's the use if you're growing it and there's no point for it, exactly, right? We're just gonna go to the supermarket, we're buying it from there, that's it, right? So what we do is that one thing, all right, is that let's say the 600 kgs of cucumbers, after every harvest, we wrap them around, and during the home time, the Commerce Club, they sell it to all the parents that are coming. So there's like engagement with the parents as well. And then we had the breakfast, this one that's sale, where like all the other, like the Commerce Club, the English Club, and all of them are working together to advertise that you students, we can change our food input. We had like a whole pack, and in the pack it was a sandwich made with the vegetables from our greenhouse, a little bit of juice, and all organic things and all of that. And those, we gave it out to all the students. So that is how we worked on with all of these things, the plants that grow. And we want way more things to do with them. We just don't want to like be secluded in our school with those. So we're hoping to broaden our ideas everywhere. Thank you so much. Sure.
I have a question, Yoga. I am just thinking, at what normal time are you going to do the gardening? Is it within your subject or you're doing it after classes?
After classes, or you're asking about
It's part of your subject or what?
It's not part of our subject. It is something that we are, now first of all, it was the students who came up with the idea, because we were doing when we started with the organic gardening in a small area, I was in 6th grade. Yeah. So the thing is that we all came up with ideas throughout the years, the seniors before me and all of those, and we went to our Academy of Science. We were saying that we want to try out this. Can we do that? And they're like, how can we? And they guided us, and we were the ones who did. And the vertical gardening, the first time we started off with it, the first year, we took all the classes to bring those big, those plastic bottles, and we cut them around. Yes, exactly. We hung them, so it's like recycling. So what we're doing is that these are ideas, not subject-wise generally, but it does help us with it, right? And then like environmental management subject, right? So it helps us around with all of those things. But basically, it was from the students, guidance from the teachers and everyone, and we were still going on.
So it's one of the clubs in your school?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Gardening club.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
I also think that there's a big opportunity for you guys to be able to mentor other schools here in Dubai. You've gone through some of the steps that deal with setting up greenhouses and vertical gardens. Other schools, they definitely want to do this. They want to find a way of doing it, but finding the resources, understanding how it's done, you guys have the SOPs in place, right? So I think if there's a way for you to build out those mentorship programs that you can bring to international schools and other local schools, that will be really, really great.
I love the idea about how you said about the mentorship program. Because what we did was that we went to some schools, as we said, like the American International School, Al-Wahda School, and we went there and we talked about basically give them presentations. They visited our greenhouse. They took like, from where are we getting all our soils and all of those things, right? We talked them, we were like having a conversation. And now Al-Wahda School, they have their own greenhouse right now. So that's a great idea. We'd love to implement a mentorship program. So like they can go into further other schools.
And it also brings about the idea of the planet being a shared planet. You know, we share the planet, but we also share the responsibility of making sure that we make the resources last. So having those partnerships, having those mentorships will be really important. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any other questions? You think? Please let us know. Thank you all so much for the questions and everything. I've gained a lot of information, and we'd love to implement all of these ideas in our greenhouse throughout our gardening club. So lastly, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Alone we cannot, together we can. So let's promise each other that we are going to create a greener future. And here is an online site where we need your feedback about this session. So please take out time for this and do it. We will be very thankful for your suggestions. Thanks to one and all present over here. And now my students have some seedlings as well as few plants which they have grown on their own, which they are going to give you as a token of gift. Thanks.